Good afternoon, folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. We'll determine if probable cause exists for those charges. Probable cause simply means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person who committed that crime. Of course, as you stand before me this afternoon, I presume that you're innocent of these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings, unless and until the State Attorney's Office is able to prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release today, that is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, or the warrant which led to your arrest. We'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. And if you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this afternoon. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you have not had a chance to make that call, please let me know, and we'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. And I need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. You all solemnly swear or affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? Outstanding.
I was told we need an interpreter for someone.
Which one?
I don't know.
I see the fellow with
Juan Carlos is on his way.
Okay. I'm guessing not the Zarillos. When I call your name, please step forward to the podium. Joanne Zarillo. Morning, ma'am. What's your date of birth?
June 17th, 1956.
All right, ma'am. You're here on a charge of battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. See, Mr. Konajeski is here on your behalf.
Yes, Judge.
State any other history?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Konajeski, anything you want to tell me?
Just as you can see from the probable cause affidavit, they do own a business while it's with their son, who happens to be the alleged victim of this case. It's my understanding that he already called the state attorney's office and is requesting peaceful contact with his parents.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how that's going to play out. As my understanding, there may be an injunction already involved.
Okay.
So I have an appointment with them, presuming they get out, to see me so I can explain to them the no contact order, but also what the injunction may entail.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Given where we're at this afternoon, Mike, I'm going to order the no contact.
I understand.
The second you guys are in a position to be heard on that one, I'll make time for you.
I can do that as soon as I get a chance to talk to him and find out what's going on with the civil case, really.
All right. And, Ms. Rowe, I have an address for you on Florentine Court in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes.
How long have you lived there?
Since 2001.
Okay. And you have a family business, as I understand. Is that correct?
Yes, we have 2 family businesses.
Okay. All right. I'm going to set your bond at $10. However, condition of the bond is that you're not going to have any contact with your son until you get a chance to speak to Mr. Konajeski, and under the right circumstances, we'll be able to change that very quickly. But given that he's not here this afternoon, the law requires me to order you not to have contact. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message, you don't contact him through any social media. You don't go where he lives, you don't go where he works, you don't have any contact of any kind. Now understand, if y'all are involved in a business together, that might be difficult, but it's just going to be difficult, and that just means that it's very important that you get to see Mr. Konajeski as soon as you can so we can start unwinding this a little bit.
Yes.
The contact means no contact even if he wants to contact, so until that's lifted, if you were to answer your phone and hear his voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see him, you should turn around and run the other way. No contact of any kind. I will tell you that I'm normally supposed to hold him till 4. I'm not going to, based on Mr. Konajeski's representations. It sounds like there either already is an injunction or there won't be one. So, do you know, did he file one? Have they been served? Jail, have they been served with injunctions?
Yes, sir. They were.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so no hold is necessary.
Yeah, they unfortunately got arrested yesterday at noon, so they've been in the
They
jail
got
for
the full
24
24.
hours. Yes, they did.
All right, ma'am, you'll be back on my docket on the 5th of June. Like I said, most important thing for you is when you get out, get to see Mr. Konojeski as quickly as you can, all right?
Yes.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Kenneth Zarello? Want to start with your date of birth?
9/26/56.
Ken, the charge is domestic battery. There's probable cause for the charge. I see Mr. Konojeski here for you also. State any history.
No, Your Honor.
All right. So, Ken, you were paying attention to everything I just did with Mrs. Zarello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So same thing. I'll set a bond of $10. Condition is that you have no contact with your son until we get that rearranged. We'll have you back in court also on the 5th of June. Make sure you get to see Mr. Konojeski as soon as you can, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Judge. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Caitlin Cassidy?
Good morning, sir.
Morning, Caitlin. What's your date of birth?
06/20/1989.
Caitlin, you're here on a warrant that was signed by Judge Rupi. She found probable cause for violation of probation. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
I'd like public defender, sir, please.
We're going to appoint the public defender. The bond on that warrant is no bond. I can't change that. I will move your date to the 24th of May to have you back in front of Judge Rupi. The public defender will come see you before your court date, okay?
There's no way I can do a bond. My job is waiting on me.
There's no way today, Caitlin. The PD will come see you before you go to court again a week from Friday, all right? Thank
Okay,
you.
I have court the 28th. Thank you, sir.
Okay, well, this one's on the 24th, so.
Okay.
There's
Thank
the
you very
felonies,
much,
I
sir.
believe, on the 28th.
Right, I understand that. All right, thank you.
We're not going to do anything on the 24th.
Tricia Eli? Afternoon, miss. What's your date of birth?
08/02/65.
Tricia, you're here on a charge of driving under the influence. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD, state.
Yes, Your Honor. It looks like she also had a DUI in 2004 and in 1995. She's had driving while suspended in 2010. And in South Carolina, she had driving without a license in 2013, open container in 2013, as well as driving without a license in 2014.
All right. And, ma'am, I have an address for you in North Charleston, South Carolina. Is that where you live?
That's correct.
How long have you lived there?
6 years.
And what brought you to Hernando County?
To visit my father and my mother.
Where do they live?
Sarasota and Arcadia.
So how did you wind up in Hernando County?
I'm heading home.
Same again?
I'm heading home to South Carolina, Charleston.
Okay. Good enough. All right. Let's leave your bond at $1,000. We'll have you back in court on the 5th of June. Please make sure you're here on the 5th of June because we will go to South Carolina to get you if you don't show up, okay?
Understood.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony Daniel. Afternoon, Anthony. What's your date of birth?
January 31st, 1981.
Anthony, you're here on a warrant signed by Judge Rupi. She found probable cause for violation of probation. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself and hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Can I get credit for time served? I've been here 40 days.
Well, they're looking for 120. So I'm happy to give you a 120 with credit for 40, but the only resolution today. Yep, wait a minute.
He also has the purpose of violation was a felony. I think he has to open.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And I don't know what happened. I mean, that was the 5th of it. Did you resolve your felony case, Anthony?
No.
Okay. Do you want the public defender on this?
Yes.
Very good. I'll appoint the public defender. Bond is no bond. You'll be back in court on this one on June 5th. PD will come see you before you go to court, all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. At the jail, who needs the interpreter?
Number 11.
Right. Hang on. Number 11. Gerson Ferrer Nunez. Good afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
Buenas tardes, señor. ¿Cuál es su fecha de nacimiento?
Agosto 10 del 70.
August 10th of 70.
You're here, sir, on a charge of driving under the influence. There's probable cause for that charge.
Señor, usted está aquí por una acusación de conducción bajo los efectos y hallo que hay indicios suficientes para esa acusación.
As to that charge, you want to represent yourself, hire private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Referente a esa acusación, ¿usted se va a representar a usted mismo? ¿Va a contratar a un abogado particular privado o quiere que le nombre un defensor público?
¿Puedo contratar a un abogado privado?
I'll try to hire a private attorney.
Very good. And Ms. Bunker, any history?
This is all we have for him, Your Honor.
¿Algunos antecedentes? No, esto es todo lo que tenemos, su señoría.
Sir, I have an address for you in Bay Harbor Island, Florida. Is that where you live?
Señor, tengo su dirección, aparece como en Bay Harbor Island, Florida. ¿Ahí es donde usted vive?
No, porque yo ya me había mudado de ahí y estoy residiendo con mi padre en Fort Lauderdale.
No, I had already moved from there, and I'm living with my father in Fort Lauderdale.
And what is your father's address in Fort Lauderdale?
¿Y cuál es la dirección de su padre en Fort Lauderdale?
Es 488 Southwest 126 TH. El zip code es 33325.
Okay, it is 488 SW126TH 33325.
Davy Fort Lauderdale.
Davy Fort Lauderdale.
And do you have a job, sir?
Y señor, ¿tiene trabajo?
Yo me accidenté y sufrí problemas de la columna y en el cuello y en estos momentos no estoy laborando.
I had an accident and I had injuries to my spine and my neck, and at this moment I am not working.
We'll leave your bond at the $1,000.
Le dejaremos la fianza en $1,000.
I'll have you back in court on the 5th of June. They may have told you the 6th. The right date is the 5th.
Y lo vamos a tener de regreso ante el tribunal el 5 de junio. Puede que le hayan dicho el 6, pero la fecha correcta es el 5.
Make sure when you speak to your lawyer, you tell him about that court date on the 5th of June.
Asegúrese que cuando habla con su abogado, que usted le informe de la fecha del 5 de junio.
Un momentico, una pregunta. Si yo no pudiera contratar al abogado, ¿yo puedo hacer uso de un abogado público?
But just a question, in case I may not be able to hire a private attorney, could I still opt for a public defender?
Yes.
Sí.
Okay.
All right, very good. Thank you, sir.
Muy bien, gracias, señor.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Juan Carlos. Robert Long. Afternoon, Robert. What's your date of birth?
5850.
Robert, you're hearing a warrant signed by Judge Rupi. She found probable cause for violation of probation. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender,
I'll appoint the public defender. The bond on that warrant, Robert, is no bond. I can't change that. I'll change your date to the 24th of May. I'll send you back to Judge Rupi then. Public defender will come see you before you go to court, okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Manuel Mercado. Afternoon, Mr. Mercado. What's your date of birth?
April 22nd, 1983.
You're here, sir, on a warrant signed by Judge Barbie. He found probable cause for 2 charges, battery being domestic in nature and criminal mischief. And you're not representing him?
No, I am representing Mr. Mercado.
Right. So you're Mr. Pila, you're going to represent Mr. Mercado.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, very good. And state any other history.
Yes, Your Honor. There have been some dropped domestic batteries in 2018, 2012, and 2006. He has an adjudication in 2006 for possession of cannabis and conspiracy to traffic in cocaine. That's all I see.
And let's see. Mr. Mercado, I have an address for you on New Hope Road in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
Maybe 15 years.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
No, not right now.
All right. And Mr. Pila.
Judge, on Mr. Mercado's case, there's actually 2 victims. They're both in the courtroom right now. The domestic battery victim is on again, off again. Tiffany Pullen, she's present. I believe that she does not want the charges to go forward, and she wishes contact with Mr. Mercado.
Okay.
Victim of the criminal mischiefs, Tiffany's mom, Ruth Pullen. She's also present, wants contact, wants charges dropped.
Okay.
If you need to hear from them on
that. The ladies come on forward. You raise your right hand. Solemnly swear firm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right. You're Tiffany?
Yes.
All right. Tiffany, you want to have contact with Mr. Mercado, is that correct?
Yes.
How long have you known him?
9 years?
All right. And are you concerned that he's going to hurt you or harm you in any way?
No.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you to get to come here to seek contact?
No.
All right. And you're Ruth?
Yes.
All right. Ruth, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
All right. And you're just a criminal mischief. Apparently that means it was your phone, is that?
It is my phone, and I have their children.
Okay. You have any objection to having contact with Mr. Mercado?
No, I do not.
Any objection to Tiffany having contact with Mr. Mercado?
No, I do not.
All right. So it sounds like the whole mess is coming back to you, and you're okay with that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set the bonds at $500 on each count, so that's a total of $1,000. The condition, Mr. Mercado, of your bond is that you can have contact with these folks, but it must be peaceful contact. It is always a crime to touch Tiffany any way she does not want to be touched. It will be a violation of your conditions of pretrial release if you have any contact with her or her mom, which cannot be described as peaceful contact. So that means even raising your voice, if I find out about it, could get you back in jail without bond. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And as far as you two are concerned, if there's any trouble that think warrants calling 911, you should call 911. Law enforcement will come running just as fast as they ever would. You coming in here and asking contact doesn't change any of that. If he's giving you a problem and he's raising his voice or he's making you worried in any way, we'll take him away and we'll put him in jail without bond. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So peaceful contact, $500 on each count. Manuel is a total of $1,000. You'll be back in court on June 5th. As soon as you get out, make sure you get in contact with Mr. Pila, okay?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Please don't do some maybe.
Yes, of course, Matt. Have a good day. Luis Rodriguez. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
2/17/12.
We have warrants for you today in, it looks like, 5 different cases. And what they really are, the Judge Toner signed them and wrote on that there was a revocation of your conditional release. So in each one of these, he set your bond at no bond, which I'm going to leave. As to these cases, Luis, did you have the public defender? And if you did, do you want to continue with the public defender?
I already got one on this case.
You have a public defender?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will make sure the public defender is appointed on all of these. Let's see. So it's no bond on all 5. I'm going to move them all to June 7th at 8:30. The public defender, your public defender is going to come see you before you go back to court on these and see where we go next, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. John Schoenman.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon, sir. What's your date of birth?
2/23/86.
And John, you're here in a warrant that I signed. I found probable cause for a violation of probation. Folks at probation are recommending 30 days. How long were you in jail in Pinellas County?
He has a total of 20 days in jail.
20 days?
He's got a total of 20.
Okay. Between here and there and everywhere else?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Including what he's got here.
Okay.
Most of it was spent in Pinellas.
And Pinellas. So, John, Mr. Bauer, who's an assistant public defender, is telling me you have 20 days in. If you wanted to enter an admission to the VOP, I would sentence you to the 30 with credit for 20, which means you probably have about 5 days left to do, and this would be over. If you don't take that, you're not going to be coming back to court until the first week of June. Did you want to accept the 30?
I'll accept the 30.
Very good. You understand by entering a plea today or an admission, you give up the right to have a trial to the court, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain to have a lawyer represent you. But you want to give up those rights so we can take care of this today?
Yes, sir.
In case number 18MM1735, do you admit that you violated your probation?
Yes, sir.
Accept the admission, find it's freely and voluntarily made, revoke and terminate your probation, unsuccessfully adjudicate you guilty of the underlying charge if that was not done before. We'll sentence you to 30 days in the county jail, credit 20 days served. I will assess $100 cost of prosecution for the state attorney's office. I'm going to assess cost of incarceration for 7 days because I think most of that time was done out of county. But that takes care of it, John. You just need to finish the time, and then you're on your way, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank
Good.
you.
Thank you. Paul Smith? Paul Smith?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Paul. Date of birth?
1484.
Okay. Paul, I got a couple of warrants for you. One was signed by Judge Rupi. She found probable cause for a petty theft. The other was signed by Judge Merritt. He found probable cause for battery on a law enforcement officer, depriving a law enforcement officer of protection or communication, resisting with violence, escape, reckless driving, petty theft, and driving an unregistered motor vehicle. And I understand you already have a DOC sentence out of Pasco County. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what's the length of your sentence?
4 years.
Okay. So, obviously, as to the charges then, other judges have already determined there's probable cause. Did you want the public defender on these?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I'll appoint the public defender. I'm going to leave the bonds per the warrants because, of course, you're not eligible to bond out in any event. On the petty theft that Judge Ruby signed, that'll be $2,000. That one's going to come back on the 5th of June. They might have told you the 7th. The right date is the 5th. And then on the felony charges that Judge Merritt signed, the bonds on those is $10,000 on each of the 4 felonies and $1,000 on each of 3 misdemeanors for a total of $43,000. And those are going to come back on the 11th of June. Public defender is going to come see you at the jail about both of these cases and get them resolved as quickly as possible, all right?
So the 5th and the 11th?
The 5th and the 11th, that's right. You'll see somebody from the PD's office before that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good luck. Okay. And then is Eric Tolley there?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And so, Walton, make sure that I'm doing this right. I think you just need me to sign a page 3, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor. Just let them know it's official, the $4 and the $1,000 still stands.
Okay. And this is really just so that we have a page 3 that's got our agency case number on it, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And so, Eric, you understand all that? It's an FTA warrant. The bonds are $4,000 and $1,000 respectively. Did you want the public defender?
Yeah, but can I ask for just a slightly lower bond so I may be able to cover it?
No, I can't do that. You got to go back to, I think it's Judge Toner to talk about your bonds. So that's that. And I'm going to send you back to court on the 7th of June. And I appointed the public defender. And if you don't get out, they'll come see you before you go to court, all right?
Can't do any sooner than the 7th, Your Honor?
7th is what it is on these. Sorry.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. And then